everyone. Well, I want to do a follow-on video to the first video that I did, and this is confusing how I word this, but I did the video My Story, My Snakes, and I've kind of been, well no, I have been requested about pretty much how it began, and I don't know if I've actually, I'll turn away from this, from the bright light, have ever, you know, I want to go through each and every one of my snakes and how they came to be in my life and my family. I don't think I've actually, I think I've done it singularly per snake as I've got them, but back to the original start of it all in this journey with my snakes, I don't believe I have. So for those out there that are wondering how it all did begin, you know, I'd like to tell you that part of my story as well. So where it all began, which was with Jack and Lacey, and really, you know, I loved all animals, didn't dislike any in particular, you know, and snakes. Didn't really give much thought one way or the other about them, or have an opinion about them negatively either. I didn't really have much to say about them, but of course now I do have a lot to say about them and have a much better understanding, of course, about them today. So I'll start with Jack and Lacey because that was the start. And how they came to be in my life was a phone call from a friend who was at a house that was abandoned, and I believe she was either there to, was being paid to clean it, which she does as a job, but this particular person knew my daughter more than me, but found this tub of maybe 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot deep, with both Jack and Lacey in it, with a water bowl in the middle. And this house had been abandoned or left for approximately 4 months from what she'd said to me. So of course my daughter, knowing me to be who I am with animals, any sort of animal, rang me immediately and said, "Mum, there's these 2 snakes that have been left that are starving, look undernourished, don't look real good. Can you come and get them?" basically. So I did. Mind you, my head's going, what do I do? What do I do for these snakes, even if I do get them, basically? So very quickly looked up heat. You know, heat, they need heat above and beyond anything else at this particular point. So I went and got a heat mat and just to put on one side of the tub for that point in time, and that's what I did. And I brought them home. I had no idea what I was doing, guys. I just had no idea. And anyway, I got it sorted and got them into look the next day, found this great big enclosure which Lacey now has all to herself. I had them in there together for a long time, and it wasn't until I bred Lacey that the dynamics changed between her and Jack, and then all I did was put a divider between it, and so they ended up with, you know, a 900 by 600 by 600, which ultimately they outgrew, and I ended up giving Lacey the bigger one and putting Jack in the smaller, but only because Lacey was a female and longer than Jack and needed that extra space. So I have Lacey out, so I'm going to now switch it around to my snakes instead of me. And as you know, currently, you know, Lacey is not very well, and he's still not really back to being Lacey, but she's out, so I wanted to be out and getting some exercise. So that's how Jack and Lacey came to me. I of course had to feed them up. They were dehydrated. I managed to get fluids into them by giving them baths, and I slowly watched them come back to really good health. It took a good few months of feeding weekly, and but they certainly settled down. Lacey, I want you to kind of hang here, sweetie, for now, and chill on the hangout spot. And I know you want to go crawling around, and I will let you, sweetheart, but let me just get through this video. Anyway, she's a good girl. But Jack currently is in shed, was out earlier, but he's kind of made his way over to the warmer end. I am hoping he will shed, but that's Lacey and Jack. And a phone call of abandoned snakes left in a tub to starve to death. I don't know who was giving them water, but somebody was, because there was water in their water bowl. So I don't know. But anyway, they're in my life, and I'm one lucky person. Then we'll go to Lily, who is hiding down here, who was the next to come into my life. And that was through a friend who was moving, going to be busy with a new job and finding a place to live. And she could no longer keep Lily. And Lily was, look, Jack and Lacey, as I don't know how old they were. It was hard for me to make a call, but certainly yearlings, or almost. They were tiny, so, and undernourished, as I said. But Lily came to me at about 1.5 years of age, maybe a little bit older. But Lily, you know, was not handled a lot, was one of these snakes that was in her enclosure and bought out when somebody come round. You know, this is my snake. She didn't have a name or anything. So, of course, I named her Lily, and she has certainly become a wonderful friend in my life. And, you know, I am grateful that my friend no longer could have her, because now I get the enjoyment out of her. And of course my friend sees her when she comes up for holidays, and, you know, just loves her, and how great she is, and how much she's grown, and how happy she is. And of course grateful that Lily gets to spend the life that she does with me. And so that's great. So that's how Lily came into my life. a friend no longer could keep her, and I was fortunate enough to be able to have her. And then of course came Jesse, who you cannot see because he's down in his hide. He was up there earlier, but anyway, Jesse. And I decided to get Jesse because of my grandson Noah, who so wanted to have a snake all to himself, but of course was a bit young really to be able to do that. I'll go into Lacey because you can't see Jesse, but Jesse's a jungle carpet python. So I got Jesse for Noah, and Jess was a year old. He is now coming up to 3, the same as Lily was that 1.5. So she's coming up to 2, 3, 4, I guess, almost, and still growing, guys, still growing. Because Jack and Lacey are now 7. You know, those years have flown with these guys, I tell you. So for a long time I only had 2. And then of course I got Lily, and then it was kind of bang and I got Jesse. But yeah, these people had got him as a Christmas present for their children and realised there was a whole lot more to looking after a snake than sticking it in what was a fish tank outside with no heating, no nothing. So I was happy to take Jesse and give him a home. And then came Maya at that particular, or Layla. Oh my goodness, I believe Layla came before Maya, and of course Layla was a blonde spotted, who was never a very good eater, and Layla passed away a couple of months ago due to her being not a good eater. But in between that, I got Maya, who is also a blonde spotted. You can just see her down there in the hide. And when I got Maya, she was 3. So in another 6 months or so, or a few months actually, she'll be probably 4 years of age. And Maya is a blonde spotted. The people that had her had got her for their daughter. Where are you going, Lace? And, you know, life got busy for their daughter, who was interested in hanging out with her friends and doing other things. So they decided that Maya would be better off going to somebody who would have the time for her. So that's how Maya came into my life. And she's beautiful, beautiful natured, and is doing really well, although she came to me with an RI, and I managed to get that under control for her, and since then she's booming and doing, yeah, really, really well. So of course then we have moving along. Yeah, you're going to stay there, Lace, for Mum? And not go a wandering? Maybe she will. But we have a pony who I did have on order basically before I got Maya. And a pony is a patternless spotted, but I did have her on order through a breeder. So she wasn't a snake that was unwanted. She was very much wanted. And I believe she's under there. And there she is. And Apani, I am shocking with ages, guys. Like, I have to look in my book for all this sort of thing. But she's not a year old yet. She is probably 8 months old at this particular stage. And she's doing really well. A great little feeder. I've had no issues with her. She's just, yeah. And I wanted one of Luna's babies, which I've done a video of Luna. I won't put that back in because I don't want to squish her at all. There, I'll get out of the light so you can see her. I'll put that back in when I finish the video. But yes, I waited for Luna to have bubs, and then of course I was pretty keen to get one of Luna's babies. Now, my next snake, of course, was Tessa, who came from a guy that was getting rid of his snakes, and he had Tessa, and he just, no, I'm trying to get out of the glare, but I can't. Maybe this way is better. Yeah, a little better. Hi, sweetie. And of course, Tessa is, gosh, 9, 10, 11 months old now. And of course, when I got her, my goodness, all she wanted to do was bite me. But now she's also one of my best friends and loves coming out and having time out. And she's almost due to go up into a bigger enclosure. She's just growing so much, guys. It's incredible. And she's going to be a big girl, so it won't be long and she'll be even out of the next size and into the next size. But yeah, she came from a guy who was getting rid of all of his snakes, and he was literally throwing them out. He just didn't want them anymore. So I thought, well, yeah, I will certainly take a Bredli, which I think are just absolutely beautiful. And I'm once again glad that she's in my life. And then, of course, my last snake that we will not be able to see unless I stick the camera right in. I'm just watching Lacey. She's down there at the back of a hide, and I don't want to disturb her too much, guys, because I just fed her yesterday. And I'm just going to check Lacey because I heard a bang thing. She's okay. Is Amaya, who is my tricolour albino Darwin carpet python, and she came from the same breeder as Apani, so I know him and trust him that these snakes are in good health and all the rest of it. But I was fortunate to get her because he was actually going to keep her as a breeder, but Amaya would be coming up to 9.5, 10 months old, if not a little bit older. So that's kind of the rundown on how it is and how each of them came into my life. And you know, even though, you know, Jack and Lacey, my first, I'm so glad I've got each and every one of them and got many years to spend with each and every one of them. So of course, you know that I want a rough scale, and that is a definite on my list. I just think they're beautiful, and not many people have them, and I would really like more people to have them, so the rough scale may ultimately end up being a breeding aspect for me, so that there are more people out there that can actually have them in their lives, not as a collection. I don't see my snakes as being a collection. I see them as my family, but I would certainly like a rough scale. I think they're just very, very unique and special. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I don't think I forgot anybody or anything. If there's anything else you'd like to know, please leave a comment, and always take care of yourself, and I will say ciao from me and Lacey today. Ciao.